Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Boulevard. We are here. We have ball games to bet on. It's week 0, uh, and the Jayhawks are playing. So that's incredible right there. Uh, but yeah, guys, we're back. It feels good to be back. How y'all doing tonight?
Tyler, go ahead.
Good. Here we're here. Yeah, we're here. We made it now. This is where it gets fun right here. This is what we do all the breakdowns for. So
Yeah.
this is what we made it for.
Like, I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you're like a diehard college football fan, right? Like, you love to bet, you love to gamble, and I mean, I just got to say, like, we got to enjoy these moments. Like, this is such a big, like, event for us for college football to come back into our lives. As people who've been watching this for a long time, um, just enjoy it. Whether you win, lose, draw, whatever, just enjoy these moments we wait for. This is what we wait all summer for. And let's have another good season, guys. But really excited.
My Seta says this man John and his Jayhawks. Hey, let's go, baby. Jalen Daniels, Heisman season. But yeah, no, it feels good to be back. We're here to give you all some bets. But before we do that, break down some games. Before we do that, just real quick, guys, remember this is week 0. If you're going to bet these games, do it with a grain of salt. Don't use your whole bankroll in 1 week here. It takes time for teams to get broke in to see what they're actually made of, especially in this age of college football with all these transfers coming in and out, right? Ease into the season. Don't go use all your entire bankroll in 1 week and then start chasing after that. And that would be a tip I have for everyone here tonight is if you're new to betting, a couple things real quick is don't chase your losses. Live to fight another day. Me and Jose, we've been doing this for 11 years now, Jose? 11, 12 years?
Yeah. At least a decade, right?
Yeah. And we've learned a lot of valuable lessons. But yeah, don't go chasing. Live to fight another day. Enjoy it. No matter what anyone tells you, if you have a gut feeling about a game, bet it. No matter what. No matter what the experts say, just take it. And have fun with it. That's what it's all about. Have fun with it, right? Jose, you got any advice?
Yeah, that's the most important thing is have fun. Because at the end of the day, guys, it's sports and there's no science behind it, right? There's no mathematics behind it. Like at the end of the day, we can put our best ideas forward, but when they go out there and play, like it's out of our control, right? So there's no magic trick here. There's nothing crazy. It's entertainment for us. It's entertainment. We want to hope we win more than we lose, but for as much as we want to sit here and break it down, at the end of the day, we're not actually going out there and playing. Like, just be cautious about that. Don't go crazy over it. Don't think you have the answer. Nobody has the answer. If somebody did, we'd all be rich. It doesn't work that way. Just enjoy it. Take it for what it is. Entertainment. It's entertainment. Let's have some fun. Let's hope we win more than we lose.
Yeah.
Let's just have some fun.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And especially in today's age, the books have gotten better, sharper every year, it seems. Jose and I talk about that every year, how it's hard to find an edge nowadays.
Yeah.
Used to, back a while ago, especially before the landscape that college football is now, you could find an edge here and there. And you can still do that sometimes, but it's really hard to find an edge.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in, John.
No, you're good.
But like, you're absolutely right in the way the game is now, the way sports books put their numbers are now is completely different to when we first started gambling. And I'm not just talking for college football. I mean, for college basketball, which is our favorite sport. I mean, those numbers used to be way off compared to what they come out with now. Now it's so much more sharp. So, again, just take for entertainment, guys. It's very, very difficult, to find edges nowadays. If you find one, great. But again, entertainment, just have fun with it, guys. Long season.
Yeah, for sure. And I appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. We're going to start getting into some breakdowns here. We have a pretty good crowd in the chat tonight. So if you guys have any questions, anything, just ask away. Even if you think it's a dumb question, ask us, and we will get to it. But yeah, let's get into some of these games, starting with Farmageddon, Iowa State, Kansas State. Kansas State sitting at -3, over under 50.5. I believe, Jose, I'm gonna let you kind of start this one out. And we'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the number is 50.5. I think it's a little bit too high. 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 Well, I just talked about there's not that many edges, and let me just preface this entire podcast by saying there's not a game that I truly love this week. There's only 5, so it's not like you can, you have a big board to choose from. But because it is week 0 and because we are a gambling podcast, I think it's only right for all of us to bet every single one of these games. At least have some sort of coin, have some sort of money or reason to watch these games, whether it's a parlay, whether it's a tease, whatever it may be. We're going to bet these games. But look, I don't really see that much of an edge here either way. The line for what we make it at is pretty spot on. I want to say this line opened at 2.5. It's kind of been jumping the fence all week. It was at 3.5. I think it got up to 4 at one point, back down to 3 currently. So if you want to bet this game, chances are you're going to get a 3 either way. I can't imagine it's going to go anywhere else. If it does, it's not going to last very long. So just take that for what it's worth. Look, I'm going to take Iowa State. I'm going to take the Cyclones for a few different reasons. The main reason is that I still don't trust Avery Johnson as a quarterback. And if he doesn't know, Avery Johnson is the starting quarterback for Kansas State. A lot of hype around him. There was a lot of hype around him last year, guys. He didn't really live up to it, in my opinion. Like, he was okay. He was good. But he hasn't shown me enough to make me believe that he could beat you through the air. And to beat Iowa State this season, I think you're going to want to beat someone through the air. Secondary is probably their weakness, which is not bad, but it's probably the weaker part of their defense. Now, last year, their defense was not very good. Okay, they had a lot of injuries. A lot of guys didn't play the way we thought they would. So, it was a far cry from what we typically expect out of Iowa State. Iowa State has, in my opinion, one of the best defensive coordinators in the Big 12. He's one of my guys. He's one of my absolute guys in John Heacock. I think he's one of the most underrated DCs in the country. I love him. I love him paired with Matt Campbell. I really, really believe in this guy's ability to coach defense. And like I said, last year just didn't live up to par. It wasn't as good as we normally expect out of Iowa State. Now, their linebacking corps, for what it's worth, was killed last year through injuries, guys. And all those guys are going to come back. Caleb Bacon, their star middle linebacker, he has NFL potential, in my opinion. And to get this guy back healthy, to get their entire linebacking room back healthy, is a big, big bonus. That should really help them stop the run, okay? What does Kansas State want to do this season? They want to pass, okay? I'll be the first to admit they want to change their traditional way they play offense, right? When we say Kansas State, we expect them to be a read option team, run first team. That's how they've always been built. They bring in Matt Wells to be OC. They want to pass the ball. They got to prove it to me first, guys. They got to prove it to me first. I don't think Avery Johnson's the quarterback to build this offense around. I don't. I think regardless of which way you bet this game, I think we all expect it to be close. And if it's close later on in the game, I just have a good feeling Kansas State is going to want to revert back to what they traditionally do, and that's run the ball. And that's going to play right into to Iowa State's specialty here. So I'm going to take 3 points. I'm not very confident in this pick. But again, because it's week 0 and, we're a gambling podcast, I have to bet it. I'll just take the points. And on the flip side, really quick, I'm sure you guys are going to touch on it. I know Iowa State lost, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, 2,000-yard receivers. They were the only team in the country last year besides Ohio State to have 2,000-yard receivers. And Ohio State only got there in the national championship game. They had, an extra 4 games to play to get to that mark. So that's just a credit to what they did on the offensive side of the ball through the air, Iowa State. But they do bring back Rocco Becht. I think he's a capable quarterback. I'm not his biggest fan, but I think he's okay. And they bring back both their running backs, Carson Hansen and Abu Sama. I think they're going to try and run the ball this year, and they can try to exploit this Kansas State defense. I think Kansas State, for the most part, should have a solid defense, but they do have to replace 6 defensive starters. So we'll just see how that goes week 0 early on in the season. Again, not a strong play from you guys. I wish I had more, but I'm going to take 3 points with Iowa State and just see what happens. Not the most confident pick, but I'll roll with the Cyclones here.
Yeah, and another thing too, I wanted to say real quick is if you don't love a line, don't buy points. Wait it out. Wait for a live line. You don't need to go buy them points. Wait for a live line. This will move back and forth during the game, so wait for something else that you might like. But look, I'm on Iowa State at the 3.5. I actually got that at plus money too over on DraftKings. If you're new to betting and DraftKings is legal, you can hop over there and get $200 in free bets to use on this week. So it's basically free money. And they'll have profit boost on games like the bigger games. And this is the bigger game of the week. So I have Iowa State at plus 3.5 plus money, which has value for me. We do have a model that we use, but we're breaking it in. So we're taking it with a grain of salt, and it has this game right at 3 as well. So the line's right. But look, this game takes us to Dublin, Ireland, right? Laying a field goal here. But listen, Iowa State, they bring back Rocco Beck, kind of like Jose said. He's a very capable quarterback. Kansas State's defense, they're kind of adjusting to new roles up front. Matt Campbell's group, he's kind of owned this rivalry, it seems. They've won 4 of the last 5, including a 29-21 win last year. Iowa State's, and Jose mentioned this, the 3-3-5 defense, it's kind of there to frustrate a mobile quarterback, which is what Avery Johnson is. So I kind of look I think Avery Johnson's really going to be looking for checkdowns here, and they're going to have to kind of run the ball. But if they force the passing game, I could see him make some mistakes here, which will keep this game close. I like the Cyclones here, maybe even a little bit of money line here, as Matt Campbell has kind of dominated this lately. I just think Iowa State has continuity. They have, experience at the quarterback. They have a really good defense. Avery Johnson has wheels, right? But against this 3-3-5 disguise, rotation, whatever, I expect him to have some trouble with reads, make some mistakes here. So, 3.5, that field goal number is enough for me to take that. I really like Iowa State here at 3.5.
And I just want to say real quick, I'm not saying Avery Johnson's a bad quarterback. He's a good quarterback. You can win with Avery Johnson. I just think in this game in particular, it's going to be tough for him, especially the very first game of the season, breaking in a new OC. As much as I like Matt Wells, it's a new OC here. And again, I just think, when push comes to shove, they're going to revert back to their original offense, their traditional offense, and run the ball with Avery Johnson. That's going to lead right into where Iowa State wants him to do.
Yeah.
But he's not a bad quarterback by any means.
I think this definitely will be a close game. I'll probably look maybe to get, if Kansas State goes down, 7-10 points, and you get a 4.5 on them, I might take it as well. I think this game will be close. So, Tyler, you got anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think it'll be a field goal game either way. Look, this is the very first game of the season. Both of these teams are going to be kind of getting back in the groove of things. So it's not like the playbook is going to be wide open. They're going to be in full swing of things. So, this is going to be a run the ball game for the majority of the game. And I'm going to take Iowa State as well at the +3, back in Matt Campbell. They returned 9 of 11 up front. Yes, they do lose 2 starters, but, they have returning all 5 up front, returning running back and quarterback duo. And I think that it'll be a close game. I think it's a field goal either way. I think the line's pretty right on.
Yeah. And while every expert that I know is taking Kansas State here, that's just another reason for me to take Iowa State.
I was about to say, we're going against the grain here because everybody that I know is on Kansas State.
I can't tell you how many times,
K-State guys.
I can't tell y'all how many times experts, people I follow and trust, when every single one of them is on a team, it does not work out. So I'm on Iowa State here. Very small play for me because I didn't love it, but I'm on Iowa State as well. Heading over to Idaho State playing UNLV. This line is moving. It was 24.5 up to 26.5. I have a play on it. You guys got anything, or you want me to break this one down? What do y'all got?
From a play perspective, I don't have anything. I think this is a name your number type game for UNLV. Whatever they want to win by, they can win by that. I'm just not really sure how motivated they are to beat Idaho State at home week 0. Right? It's more of a get out, get healthy kind of game.
Yeah.
But I do believe they can name their number. I hate playing these big point spreads anyways. You guys know that.
Yeah.
Anybody doesn't know that. I hate large. Unless I'm taking the dog, I don't like laying all these points. But I think this is a name your number type game for UNLV if you want to get involved.
Big T.
Yeah, no, I'm with Jose. I kind of stay away from the large numbers. If I had to pick one, it'd probably be better, to pick to lay it with UNLV, just because they have the capability of doing so. Now, will they? I don't know, but they absolutely could. So
And for anybody that doesn't know you, I'm sorry, John. I don't mean to jump in, but anybody doesn't know about these two teams. Like Idaho State they're an FCS team. They're not in Division. Well, they are Division 1. But they're not like in a major Division 1. But they are not a very good team, regardless. And their run defense is terrible. And for anybody that doesn't know about UNLV this year, they're going to be a running team. They brought in the quarterback from Michigan. If anybody knows or watched Michigan last year, Alex Orji. He might have been one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen try to throw a ball. But he can run, and I'm sure they will run. And they actually brought in another quarterback from Virginia, Anthony Colandrea, and he cannot run. He can only throw, and he can only throw very far. He has no intermediate game. He has no short game. He can only throw bombs. So, that's what you're going to expect in this kind of game. You're going to get two totally different quarterbacks running this offense. So, I mean, I think if from a gambling perspective, we should watch this game just to see exactly how this offense is going to operate. But I think you said it last week, John. Like, if you have two quarterbacks and you have no quarterbacks, and right now UNLV has no quarterbacks, they're going to play both of them, and neither one of them really gives me that much confidence. And it's a shame because this roster is actually pretty good, but you need a quarterback to compete. Especially in the Mountain West when you have teams like Boise and teams like San Jose. So, there's a little brief breakdown of those two teams. If you want to get involved, that's kind of what you want to expect. But I think it's a name your number UNLV type game.
Hey, listen, I'll go a little deeper here. I'm playing Idaho State with the points.
Wow.
Yeah. Listen here. Jose mentioned it already. I hate two quarterback teams, especially starting the year. And not only is it two quarterbacks, it's two quarterbacks that can't play quarterback. So listen, look, I like Idaho State in this spot, right? They returned their starter, Jordan Cook, threw for 2,400 yards last year, led FCS in passing. 4 of their top 6 receivers are back. There's continuity in the passing game. And this is kind of a double-edged sword for Dan Mullen here. New quarterback room, like we just talked about. I hate that. I hate betting on teams with two quarterbacks. You are trying to figure out what you have, and it usually leads to like slow starts.
Well, I think the problem is they're trying to figure out what they have, but we already know what they have. Like, I've seen enough out of Orji. I've seen enough out of Colandrea to know what they are. So, I don't really know what UNLV's doing. Like, they're going to reinvent the wheel with these guys.
I like Idaho. I really do like Idaho State in this spot. Everyone is on UNLV for the name. They don't know what they're getting into here. With the 2-quarterback system, Dan Mullen comes in. He's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. Jose mentioned it. Kind of a get in, get out game. Keep him healthy. Let me see what I got. Let me get in. Let me get out. Idaho State can throw the ball around, and I expect him to maybe, if anything, backdoor this or just hang in there. Just hang in there. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
42-21, you're covering. Like, come on. So a couple touchdowns from Idaho State, and they have a real shot here. And UNLV, they are going to try to run the ball, and they're going to try to control clock, run clock, stay healthy, get out. And that's fine. Idaho State, yes, they have one of the worst run defenses. But if anything, that is what they're trying to fix this year. That is what they're focused on, and they're going to really see what they have out there this year. So, UNLV also, a little bit of an interesting stat here. They've lost 5 of its last 6 games against Idaho teams, including Idaho State. So, Cody Hawkins. Yeah. Third-year Cody Hawkins. Yeah, Jordan Cook at quarterback. Receivers. I love Idaho State in this spot. I think that they can hang in there, maybe backdoor this. If not, they have a returning coach, returning players. They really have one problem to fix, and that was the run defense. And I think that if they really have focused on that, they could do that. And with UNLV having the veteran coach Dan Mullen, like Jose said, they're going to want to get in, get out, stay healthy. I don't expect Dan Mullen to run the score up here. Idaho State can easily score 21 points and cover this, 24, whatever it may be. So, give me Idaho State, 26.5, 27, whatever. I took it at 24.5. I loved it, 24.5. I love Idaho State here. I may bet them another half unit if it gets to 27.5. Idaho State.
I'm here to tell you that if you like them at 24.5, you're going to love them at 28.5 because this thing's going to keep rising. I can't imagine this number.
Everyone's on UNLV, and that's fine.
This number is not going to stop moving because you're going to get nothing but UNLV money. You got to consider, too, this is a Vegas team. So people in Vegas will be betting on UNLV like nonstop.
Oh, yeah. That's fine. I will go against everybody here. I'll go down with the ship. But I am happy with taking Idaho State here with a very capable quarterback. And Dan Mullen trying to figure out what he has. So, give me Idaho State.
Anybody in the chat right now, without Googling it, if you could tell us what Idaho State's mascot is, we'll give you a shout out. Because I can't imagine too many. I know what it is, but I can't imagine too many people know what Idaho State's mascot is. Tyler, do you know?
Let me tell you, I was not expecting a full Idaho State breakdown on this game. I'm gonna keep it tight. I had no idea.
Hey, look, that was great.
Full breakdown. Yeah,
but you know what? But back on the subject about this 2-quarterback system, I know we talked about Idaho State's run defense's ass, but it's a little easier when you know when the team's going to run the ball. So when Alex Orji is in the game, like you just know they're going to run it's going to be a run play. So that in theory, that should help, which is why I hate quarterbacks who can only do one thing because you know what they're going to do. Like Orji's not going to drop back to pass. You know what I mean? Like, so when he's in the game, you would assume your defense is going to say, okay, they're going to run the ball here. If this guy can, if we're going to make any quarterback beat us one-on-one, it's going to be Alex Orji because he can't.
Yeah.
And to further John's point too about, taking teams against that system. Remember, I mean, week 1 last year, SMU in Nevada,
right,
playing Preston Stone and Kevin Jennings.
Yeah, I mean, that's a prime example right there.
Nevada we was hyping.
They had a chance to win that game.
They did, and we was all over SMU last year in the breakdowns before, and then we was watching that game. It was like, damn, we might be cooked.
Hey, our guy went off, RJ Maryland.
He did.
He's the reason why they won.
I was about to say he won them that game. So
yeah. But yeah, so I'm back in Idaho State here. Keep it small, guys. Don't go crazy on this. But yeah, I like Idaho State. I like Idaho State more than the Iowa State play. So, heading over to Kansas, playing Fresno State. I will start this one off with my Jayhawks, and you guys can tell me why I'm wrong. But yeah, week 0 in Lawrence, Kansas opens up their new renovated stadium against Fresno State. 12.5. I'm back at the Jayhawks. No surprise here. And it starts with none other than Jalen Daniels. He's healthy. He's dynamic. He has experience. He can be efficient. And when he's under center, the Jayhawks can dictate the game, stress defenses. He can stress defenses with his legs, and he is an explosive quarterback. And we kind of talked about this in the Big 12 breakdown, but although losing Devin Neal, the system under Lance Leopold is built on balance and execution. They have a veteran offensive line. They have a quarterback that can make plays. I think they have a massive edge here against Fresno State. I mean, you're breaking in your new stadium. You've been waiting for it. It's going to be hyped up. They're gonna have a good crowd. And you still have a good quarterback. And on the other side, Fresno State is breaking in a new head coach, a new OC, a new quarterback in E.J. Warner. It's just a ton of moving parts to kind of iron out for this week 0 game, especially against a Power 4 team on the road. This is a spot play here. They've been building toward this moment under Leopold. He's kind of made a statement that he wants the atmosphere to be electric. He wants people to show up. He wants to start the year fast. He wants to start it strong. He's tired. He does not want another slow start. So, yeah, I'm back in Kansas here to make a statement in their new stadium with Lance Leopold wanting to just start fast. And Jalen Daniels healthy. He can kind of get the ball around and make plays and, maybe run this thing up, to be honest with you. But 12.5 is too low for me. Yeah, I'm all over the Jayhawks.
T.
If Tedford was coaching this game, I'd probably be all over Fresno. But I'm gonna for the sake of having to make a pick, I'll go with Kansas. And I don't feel great about it because of how slow they started last year. And that really worries me of how slow they kind of start these games off. Now Matt Entz he's had major success at North Dakota State. Well, like 60 and 11 or something like that. Like
way higher.
Yeah, he was due. Like if there's a place that could go, especially like with the history of Fresno State, like Fresno State can take down some P4 teams. They really can. Now, I'm not a big fan of E.J. Warner in any way, shape, or form. I didn't think he was very good, to be honest with you. Like I didn't think he was bad, but I didn't think he was very good. He may could surprise me and keep him semi-close in this game, maybe enough to backdoor it just because that's what Fresno does, but I'm not a fan of E.J. Warner, and there's a lot of moving parts within that program from the coaching staff to the players. So with that being said, I'll lay it with Kansas. I don't feel great about it, but I'll do it with just for the experience at quarterback and Leipold there at head coach.
So this number opened at 14.5, and it's down to 12.5, and the total dropped from 51.5 to 50.5. So obviously there must be some, like professional group out there betting Fresno State pretty heavily, right? I mean, I wouldn't say it's a substantial line move, but like you did move through some key numbers like 14.5, 14. It went through that pretty easily. So yeah, there's some big believers out there in this Fresno team. Now, I thought the number was falling because of the hire of the head coach, which was Matt Entz, like Tyler talked about, because he comes from North Dakota State, which traditionally is a very run-heavy team. And when you have a team that runs the ball that much, it typically leads to a lot less possessions throughout the game because the clock is constantly moving. So when you're getting two touchdowns off the bat, I don't hate it if you want to buy that team because who knows how many possessions each team is going to get. You get what I'm saying? So you're getting at least two touchdowns worth of spread. So which is why I thought the number dropped, which I still kind of believe that's why the number dropped. That's why the total dropped as well. Clock's going to be running, a lot less plays in the game. You want to bet the under and you want to take the two touchdowns. So that's the style that Matt Entz is bringing. But the roster that he brought was not as good of a roster as I thought. Like, he didn't bring that many players from North Dakota State with him to Fresno State. And typically when a coach transitions to a different role like that, you bring a lot of your players. We've seen it like at, what's the team? Southern Miss, right? Like Southern Miss this year just hired Marshall as head coach. And if you guys follow the portal, the entire Marshall program jumped in the portal and went to Southern Miss. And now Southern Miss is like one of the favorites to win their Conference USA, right? North Dakota State, a lot of these players didn't really follow Matt Entz. So this is a brand new coaching style for the team, and you don't have the personnel to really fit that style. So it could lead to some problems, at least week 1, week 0 even, So I'm not a really big believer. I'm a believer in Matt Entz, but for this first game here, the immediate translation, I don't see it, guys. 12.5 seems like a lot, for a Kansas team that we weren't really all that impressed with last year. Like, yeah, they came on towards the end of the year, but we can't disregard what they did for the first half of the season. They were not good that first half of the season. So right off the bat, it does seem like quite a bit, but there is some talent on this roster still. John talked about Jalen Daniels. Great opportunity for him to start the season right. He is still a dynamic player, whether we like it or not at this point, whether we think it was Kotelnicki or we think it was Jalen Daniels. He's still much better than what Fresno State's going to throw out there. Home opener for the brand new stadium. Leipold's a hell of a coach. I think we all like him a lot. So yeah, I'll make it 3 for 3 and lay this 12.5 here with Kansas. I don't really know where this number finishes at, to be honest with you. If anything, I think it goes back up to it creeps back to 14. So you might want to get in on it now. But yeah, I think there's too much of a talent difference, and I think Fresno State traditionally is a pretty good program. But there's just too many moving parts, like you guys talked about here, and there's not enough. The personnel they have doesn't really match what the coach wants to do this season. So, yeah, I'll lay it with Kansas as well, guys.
I think it's going to take a year or two to kind of get another year or two to kind of get what he wants over there at Fresno State.
And he's a good coach.
Yes, he is. Coach. Absolutely.
Great this coach. Was a good hire, but just right now, I don't think it's time.
Give him time. Time.
Yeah, you got to give him time.
All right. Headed over now to Sam Houston going to Western Kentucky, minus 10.5, over under up 61.5. Anybody want to start us out on this one?
I'll just go real quick. I think this is a big variance game. Like, if you want to take Sam Houston, I wouldn't hate the money line here because both these teams have so many question marks coming into the year.
Yeah.
I know Phil Longo was hired as the OC for Sam Houston. I'm not really a big Phil Longo guy, to be honest with you guys. He came from Wisconsin, I believe it was. Right, boys? And we saw how Wisconsin's offense the last few years wasn't really all that good. But with Western Kentucky, same thing. They're trying to recreate the magic they had with Bailey Zappi from a few years ago. They went out and brought in, I believe it was the OC and the quarterback from Abilene Christian, Maverick McGuire, I believe his name is, to play quarterback at Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, he put up pretty good numbers at Abilene Christian last year, but again, that's FCS. We'll have to see how that translates here. Sam Houston, though, again, I'm not really high on either of these teams. I'm just kind of reading off what I put. Like, Sam Houston's replacing a lot of guys on offense and defense. So, again, just a very, very high variance game. Neither of these teams has like continuity from last year. If I was gonna take a shot on anything here, I would take Sam Houston money line and just hope for the absolute best. Because I am not high on either of these teams. I don't know enough about these teams to feel confident either way. As much as I want to sit here and preach how much I love college football, this might be the only time all season I watch either of these teams play. Because I just don't think I just don't think the outlook for these guys is that good this season.
Yeah.
So, and if I do watch them play again, then I got to question what I'm doing in my life because I can't imagine these teams are going to be that good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll take Sam Houston money line just for the pure value play. Like if we're gonna do a parlay or something, you want to mess around, I would just put Sam Houston money line in there just for the hell of it, just to sweeten it up a little bit.
Yeah, I will point out really quickly, and like I said, take this with a grain of salt, but this was the biggest variance in the spread on our model this week. So I'm really more interested to see how that plays out with our model. It had Sam Houston at +6. That's 4.5 points. So I don't know. We'll see here. I like Sam Houston as well at 10.5. But this is kind of this is also one of those games where you kind of watch and see. You can really see a lot after one or two drives. Like, oh, okay, this team, they have a rhythm. They've developed something in the offseason as a team. So some chemistry is the word I was looking for. If I have to back someone here, and I already have, I took Sam Houston at 10.5. I think that's a good number. They do have Hunter Watson coming back at quarterback, who has experience, played pretty well last year. They brought in Phil Longo, who he's got good experience. I think he can maybe do something there with the offense. And they have significant roster change. Sam Houston does, but they have shown that they can. On the defensive side of the ball, the concepts that they play, they can disrupt offensive systems, rhythms, and I don't expect that to be any different this year. A system works. Defensive coordinators make systems work with what they have. So, Western Kentucky, they're rebuilding as well. Several key departures, new OC, integrating new players. This is kind of growing pains for both these teams. But in my eyes, you kind of got to look at Sam Houston here and Hunter Watson at quarterback to kind of lead this team, maybe to the win. Maybe sprinkle a little bit on the money line, like Jose said. But I like the 10.5. I think they can stay within 10 points for sure. Tyler, you got anything you want to add?
I would love to be able to sit here and give you the biggest breakdown on Sam Houston and Western Kentucky. I'm not going to be able to. But, no, this offense last year, it just seemed like to me was they were either lights out and they were scoring 40 or they were scoring a touchdown. There was no in between. And to close the game, when I was doing a little bit of my research on them, to close the season out, their offense struggled. There was only a few games where they scored over 10 points. Mm-hmm. And that was against teams that, for the majority part, wasn't very good. They were in a dogfight with Kennesaw.
So, sorry to interrupt you. Didn't Sam Houston, against the spread, they were 8-0 last year? Their defense was what was keeping them in the games.
Start the year off, their offense was on fire.
What was thinking of 2 years ago, John?
2 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tyler.
2 years ago, sorry, but just anybody listening, 2 years ago, Sam Houston started the season 6-0 against the spread, and they scored 10 points all season.
Yeah,
they were covering spreads just because their defense was so good, but their offense was scoring nothing. Yeah. That was nuts.
Yeah, and that's kind of how they played toward the end of last year too. Their offense wasn't doing a whole lot, but their defense was keeping them in them in those games. So, I mean, I'll take Sam Houston for the point of having to pick, but very small play.
Yeah.
From a gambling perspective, this is much more of a game you just want to watch and get an idea of how these teams are going to play for this season. I'm intrigued with Western Kentucky. I want to see how they play with this new OC and this new quarterback from FCS level. Because I think they have more potential than Sam Houston as the season goes on. So I'm interested to see exactly just how they look. But either way, I mean, if this wasn't week 0, we would not be watching this game. We would not be playing this game. So it is what it is.
Yeah. And we have a good one for the night game, in my opinion. 2 really awful teams, but should be a good game. Stanford playing Hawaii, 2.5 here. I've got a breakdown here I can do for this game, but I'll toss it over to you guys real quick. I'm interested here to see what y'all have to say, and I'll kind of hop into this one.
You want me to go first here, or you want to take it?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Look. First of all, I wish why this game is being played on the island. Why is this not like an 8:00 game? Like, why is this not a 7:00 game? Like, all Hawaii games are always late. Why is this game not late? Because there's a couple more games at 4:00. Like, they should have made this a standalone game at night so everybody could have watched it. You know what I mean?
7:30 my time.
Yeah, but like, well, over here but there's other games going on at the same time as that. I forget which other. I think it's Sam Houston, right? Or there's another game that's being played at the same time.
Sam Houston, Western Kentucky is 30 minutes before that. Starts 30 minutes before that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, typically with Hawaii games, they're played like super late at night. At least where I live at, like the game kicks off like at 9 p.m. Right? Yeah. Like, I don't know why they're not doing that here, because this is a perfect opportunity for them to get a primetime spot. Anyways, I digress. This line open Stanford 2.5, guys. It's actually flipped to Hawaii 2.5, and I don't think this line is done moving yet. If you want to wait on Stanford, I think you may get a 3. Who knows? If you want to get greedy and keep waiting it out. Look, there is a lot of hype, I guess, a lot of love for this Hawaii team. I'm seeing a lot of love for their defense, specifically their linebackers. I think people must be projecting these guys to have a pretty big impact on the game. I just don't really see it. Not this much love. Not 4.5 points worth of love. Look, Stanford's defense is ass. Okay, I'll be the first to admit it. But their secondary is okay. Hawaii's going to be starting a freshman quarterback. I think his name is pronounced Mika Alahedo. Alahedo?
Yes.
Now, for what it's worth, he played pretty well when he actually did come in and play last year. I think he redshirted, but he played a couple games. However that works. But he's a very small quarterback, guys. I'm talking like 5'10", 170. Not the greatest build for a quarterback. That's going to be moving around a little bit. And for as bad as Stanford is, they still are a Power 4 team. They have Power 4 talent. And traditionally, they're able to, bring in players that are decent on the offense and defensive lines of scrimmage. So, I mean, yeah, another game that I really wouldn't be betting if it wasn't for week 0. But, I'm gonna trust the model that we have here and just take the 2.5 points with Stanford. They got rid of Tory Taylor, their head coach, which I thought was a good move. They bring in Frank Reich, someone who I used to be really high on in the NFL. Obviously, it hasn't really worked out, but I think you know what you're getting out of Frank Reich. Stanford's offensive line should be okay. I was breaking it down earlier. I was doing my research. They shouldn't be that bad. Should be able to utilize some sort of a ground game here, and I think that's where they're going to get the edge, is just by running the ball. They named Ben Gulbranson the starter recently.
Yes.
I believe they did.
Yeah.
Like he's not elite or anything. He's okay. I saw him play at Oregon State a few years ago, and he was okay. Like you could win with him. He won there. He can scramble a little bit, can move around, move the pocket, which I think will maybe cause some issues to Hawaii. I don't have the greatest breakdown. I'm not going to lie to you guys, but it is week 0. We're going to bet it. I'm going to take Stanford 2.5. This is just more of a value play. Like the model that we have tells us this should be Stanford, 2.5. Instead, you're getting the 2.5 here.
Yeah.
And I don't know what this Hawaii team is. I just don't know. There's some question marks in the offense. They have potential, but I just don't know yet. So I'll take Stanford.
Yeah, it always seems Hawaii always has a lot of hype at the beginning of the year. But yeah, I'm with Jose here. Stanford plus 2.5. I don't even hate Stanford money line plus 110. In my opinion, they got a new vibe under head coach Frank Reich. NFL coach, he's going to bring discipline. He's going to have this team focused. I think that it was time to get rid of the old coach. But yeah, I think Frank Reich, he's going to be all about execution, ball control, fewer mistakes. Hawaii, they have that run and shoot offense, which was ranked 101st in turnover differential last year. So that right there alone is going to be a recipe for Stanford to stay in this game. I do think you have kind of a little bit of an edge here with Ben Gulbranson coming in from Oregon State. He is like a 6-year transfer from Oregon State. So he's been around, he's been in the program for a long time. He's seen a lot of things. He has started 11 starts, 2,600 yards, 61.8% completion. And then, like Jose said, you have the Hawaii freshman, Micah Alahedo. who is a very talented kid, but he's just unproven. I expect him to make some mistakes here, especially against the NFL head coach that is probably preaching, in my opinion, discipline. No mistakes, execution. Another thing for me here is Hawaii's home hype is a little overblown to me. Hawaii, they are 6-1 against the spread at home, and that sounds kind of scary. But a lot of these teams are traveling much further than what Stanford has to do here. Stanford won this game in 2023 as 2.5-point underdogs, 37-24. The West Coast to Hawaii trip, it's not brutal. I think they'll be just fine. There is defensive upside, in my opinion, for Stanford. I think their secondary could give the freshmen some trouble, force some turnovers. I think Stanford could win this game pretty easily. I think there's a lot of value here. I know one guy, Mike Tierney, over at Sportsline. He's actually 17-4 on betting Stanford, and he is on Stanford here at +2.5. He likes this play for Stanford. So, I like Stanford to cover here and possibly win this game outright. Big T, you got anything you want to add real quick?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, this game's going to be trash. I'm going to keep it buck. This game's going to be terrible.
It's going to be the best game of the night because it's going to be chaos.
Yeah. No, I did like what you mentioned there as far as home field advantage for Hawaii there at the island. That's not just a super far trip for Stanford, so I really don't think that will be as big of a deal. I am just really curious why there's been such a big swing in the line.
Yeah. The only thing that I can remember is I believe one of their best players on the D line is hurt. I think that was 4 points is a lot, but
that's a lot of points.
You're not moving 4.5 points.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is just Hawaii money coming in, guys. I mean, I'm sure there's some sharp.
They're taking about 80% of bets right now.
Yeah,
Hawaii
this is going to be a steady flow of Hawaii. I mean, everyone kind of thinks Stanford's ass, and I'm not saying they're not, like they are, but like let's pump the brakes on Hawaii for a second, guys. They're not as good as
one thing that I remember. Or one thing that I believe and I see a lot too is people base their opinion off teams from last year, especially these early weeks. And you got to remember the world of college football now is so much different. You can have a whole new starting 11.
Oh, hey, listen,
offense and
Indiana.
Defense. Yeah.
I mean, look, like Stanford brought in some guys in the portal. Like they did not they hit the portal hard. They brought in some guys that they're not elite, but they did bring in some players, to change this program around. I mean, this is a few years ago, Stanford was a good program. Like they had talent. They were playing for, Rose Bowls and whatnot. Like when they had Andrew Luck back there, obviously, or when they had even after that, like this team had talent. So let's not pretend like Stanford is like some terrible, terrible school in our lifetime. They've been okay. Like they went out to the portal and they got some guys, and for the most part, like they're committed. So, I think there's way too much love with Hawaii here. I don't really see it with this team.
Yeah,
like
I
sure
agree.
they're fine, but this is a Mountain West team, and even then, they're projected to finish like in the mid Mountain, like in middle Mountain West. Not like they're not going to be like one of the favorites or anything.
Yeah. The power rankings and the model, Hawaii's under Stanford in every statistical category or whatever in the power ratings. So I just don't see it. I like Stanford here. Frank Reich, I think that's a good hire to get in there and kind of clean things up. And yeah, I mean, if you're betting Stanford based off last year, you're going to be sadly mistaken. You know what I mean? Are they going to be ass? Yes, but the world of college football is so different now. I mean, it's so different.
We all bet Stanford week 1 last year against TCU for what it's worth.
Yeah.
And they covered. Like they did cover that game. Now they were lucky as hell, but they covered. So it's not like betting Stanford opening week is like it's worked for us in the past.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's our 5 games this week. Kind of getting our feet wet, dipping back into it. I'm super excited. There's a high school football game here Friday. I'm gonna go watch. I'm just hyped up. We got a big cold front coming. It's gonna be 60-some degrees here next week. I'm hyped. But yeah, I'm on Iowa State here. Idaho State, Kansas, Sam Houston, and Stanford. I believe we were in agreement on about every pick tonight, weren't we, guys? That's kind of a rare thing.
No, you were Idaho State.
I
You were
said
the lone
that.
Idaho State.
Oh,
No,
oh,
I said
yeah.
you were Idaho
Yeah.
State. We were UNLV.
That's probably my favorite play of the week besides Kansas.
Oh, there you go.
No, but yeah,
Look, I'm just
it feels good to be
go ahead.
back. It feels good to be back. And I'm getting it. I'm just hyped up. I'm ready, man.
Yeah, and that was my final point in that. Like, I'm just excited everything's back, you know, and like this is the calm before the storm, guys. Like this was
Yeah.
not a very strong week 0. Not to say week 0
Mhm.
was ever really strong, but this was a, you know, it's just nice to, you know, get our feet wet, I guess. But next week there is
Fire.
some absolute bangers for week 1, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of having this many good games this early. I know it sounds weird. Like I want teams to like get used to the personnel. I want them to be their absolute best versions of themselves when they play. But when it actually happens, when you get all these games week 1, I'm not going to complain. Like these
Yeah.
games are absolutely amazing. You can see my Ohio State hat next week. It's a travesty they're not playing in prime time against
I know.
Texas. It's an absolute travesty. But nevertheless, it just gives us a reason to get hyped up at 8 in the morning, whatever. So, you know, I'm excited for this week, but I cannot wait for next weekend.
Julian Sayin got announced the starter, and this line moved.
He did. Well, I mean, so here's my 2 cents on that, okay? Like, first of all, Lincoln Kienholz has been in the program for, 4 years now. So I think we might have undersold how good of a quarterback he might have been. I don't think it was so much Julian Sayin was bad. I just thought Lincoln Kienholz was playing really good. Like, when you've been in the program for that long, when you're throwing to players like Jeremiah Smith in practice, when you're throwing to players like Igbukah last year in practice, you're going to look good. You're going to get better, right? When you practice with better players around you, you become better. That's just the way it always works. You know, that's the way life works. So there's a good chance that Kienholz was good. It wasn't that Sayin was bad. It was that Kienholz was good.
Yeah.
Ultimately, they gave the job to Sayin. I don't mind it. I think regardless, you know, I expect him to play well. And you're playing at home, you know?
Yeah.
So we'll get into that next week, of course.
Mhm.
But, you know, for now, I just can't wait. It's going to be such cinema for us.
Yeah, we'll be watching that one together next week.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, we will.
But yeah, we are back. We appreciate everyone tuning in tonight, showing some love, all the new subscribers. Remember, bet responsibly. Don't bet with the outside of your means, and have fun with it. That's what it's about. So have fun with it. Enjoy it. It feels good to be back. Week 0. We appreciate everyone tuning in. And if you want to catch our bets, they're going to be over on Action Network. Tyler, it is _Boulevard, correct?
Yeah.
_Boulevard over on Action Network. Free app. Download it. Follow it. You'll see all of us on there with our personal plays. I've got I do other stuff too, NASCAR, golf, and college I do a lot of college basketball. But yeah, we all have our own things we do. You'll see some soccer plays from Jose and other stuff. Big T, he's a big NFL guy, so you'll see all kinds of other plays outside of college football. But go over there, follow _Boulevard and all of us to get all your betting picks for this year. Guys, you got anything you want to add before we head out for the night?
It's almost here.
Enjoy it.
Almost
Enjoy it.
here. And Brian,
like-
yes, you are right. They are the Idaho State Bengals.
Hey, very good, Brian. Very, very good, Brian.
The
But hit up that Google search real quick.
Yes, sir. So I know damn well if you look at his history right now, it's the first thing that popped up.
I got
Idaho
an
State's.
Idaho State T-shirt on the way.
Oh, if they cover for you, then yeah, you deserve
Right.
it, bro. They should send you one for free for the only
Yeah.
person in the world backing you.
I need to get my St. John's shirt. That's my basketball team this year. Gonzaga let me down.
We're just barely starting college football. He's already in college basketball.
I'm ready for college
Yeah, watch
basketball.
the
I'm ready for college basketball. But we appreciate it. We love you guys. Tune over to Action Network to see all our bets. You might even catch some live bets from us. So y'all head over there. We appreciate it, and y'all have a great night. Peace out.